Hi, I'm Daniel with Cyclery, and today we're going to go over how to adjust Shimano road front derailleurs. All front derailleurs have the same basic adjustments. You have a low limit screw, a high limit screw, and a cable anchor adjustment. So the first step is we need to adjust the position of the derailleur. Now this is a band type, so we're going to adjust it here. Most bikes have a braze on, and you'll have a bolt right here that you'll adjust to raise and lower and adjust the pivot on the derailleur. So we'll loosen this up. What we want to go for, this one's set up a little too high. So Shimano recommends that you have it at between 1 and 3 millimeters off the top of this tooth to the bottom of the derailleur cage. And we'll just make the outer cage parallel with the big chainring. And that should get us in the ballpark. So before we go to our next step, you want to make sure that the barrel adjuster going to the front derailleur is turned all the way in, so all the way clockwise, to release any tension that may be in the cable and leave us room to adjust it later. So what we want to do next is shift the rear derailleur into the largest cog in the back, and we'll of course have our front derailleur in the small cog. So now we're going to set our inner limit. And so that's done with this screw right here. Now we want the inner plate of the derailleur cage to be as close to the chain as possible without actually touching it. So that means we need to tighten this screw. Turn it clockwise. Now it helps to kind of pull that derailleur out so that it's not up against the stop, and that makes the screw a little bit easier to turn. And we can turn the pedals and listen to hear if it's touching that. Hear it right there, it's just barely touching, so we'll back it off about a quarter turn. And we'll stop there. Our inner limit is now set. And so now we need to adjust our cable tension. So we'll do that by loosening the cable anchor here, pulling the cable tight. Sometimes it helps to use needle nose pliers to pull on that cable, but it's not necessary. And we'll just get that tightened back down. So now we're going to shift it up into the big ring. And we'll look and see how much space we have between the outer derailleur plate and the chain. So this gap that we have here is just about right. In fact, I think we could go out just a tiny bit because it's catching just a little bit on the front side there. So we'll just take our screwdriver, back off this outer limit just a hair, and check, and it's quieted up a bit. We can test it again. Now, here's something you can check. See how I can push the derailleur out? That means that my cable tension isn't right or the stop isn't right. Now, in this case, it's the cable tension. And the reason I know that is because the chain is too close to this outer plate. So we're going to back out our barrel adjuster just about a 3/4 of a turn or so, and that's going to get us that space that we need. It's going to pull the derailleur outward. Now we want this stop to be right up against that perfect position, and that's going to prevent the chain from overshifting and falling off the big ring. So we'll just check our setting here and really push on the shifter hard to try and make it derail on the outside, to just make sure that you got it right. And this one is not wanting to fall off. We got it. So now we'll just double check our setting for our trim. Make sure that's still good, and it is. That little bit of noise we hear is actually just the chain bouncing off the big ring, which is unavoidable on most compact cranksets like this one. So we're all set. So that's how you adjust a Shimano road front derailleur. Check out our other Learning Center videos to learn more about how to work on your own bike.